So again, thank you guys. You all were great downstairs.
It was fun.
Yeah, we got to learn more about our Congresswoman, and I've heard you say many times that you are a recovering entrepreneur.
Yes.
But it was good today to hear about your journey, and I think it's going to be real helpful for the folks in our audience, and as we put our podcast out on our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
I think that folks will really get an opportunity to appreciate all that you shared with them. So we're going to continue the conversation for a little while. If that's all right with you all? Yes. All right. So, Congresswoman, we are really excited about your Business Expo. I know last year I was here and there were about 500 folks buzzing all over the building, and all kinds of resource tables were around. And people were just excited about the workshops they were attending. And I remember Verizon was here and folks were knocking down that door trying to get in there. So can you share with us any new features that attendees can expect? And how would you suggest they make the most of all of the opportunities that you're going to present for them?
Well, thank you for that. So and I want to thank you guys again for this opportunity and the privilege to be able to talk to folks directly. So the new thing about this year's expo, we have a survey that we actually, and we've done this I think last year too, but we have a survey for our RSVPs to complete so that we are making sure that we're delivering what you're looking for. We want to make sure that we are meeting your needs. And what we learned through our survey is that financing and marketing were two of the top things that people were interested in. Making sure, again, that folks can leave with tangible things. So documentation. Hey, Mayor, I see that. I got to say shout out to Mayor Hobart of Woodmere is in the building. Y'all, can y'all give him a round of applause? An entrepreneurship student. Yes, me too. Okay, all right. So that's something. And then I think, if I just as a person who continues to reach out to businesses on a regular basis and reaches out to us, the tariffs, because there's a lot of talk about the tariffs and how they're impacting businesses. And I think that that'll be a dynamic workshop, a dynamic thing for folks to learn about, because it's really creating a very unpredictable environment. I was just watching the news, and some of our big auto industries are unable to kind of really forecast because of these tariffs. So I'm interested in how they're impacting some of the small businesses. So those will be some of the things. But we've got every level of government coming, so federal, state, county, city of Cleveland. So they'll all be in the building with their folks to help interested individuals learn how they can tap into accessing contracts. Everyone always wants it interested because they know good money, government money tends to be historically before the headwinds. Before the headwinds, they used to be reliable resources. Now, I will tell you, we move a little slow, but the money is coming generally. But getting government contracts and how that works, and so we want to be able to provide folks with that information. So that's something that folks will be able to take advantage of while they're there.
We hosted a pitch competition on our Metropolitan campus last night, and one of the things that I noticed with the group that was there was very well attended, and the entrepreneurs were amazing. One of our facilitators is here with us this evening, Tasha, but that was what I noticed. They really did need the finance piece, and that
access to capital. That is like the biggest thing. And I to level set expectations. There are a lot of partners and entities out there that can assist. Getting grants is a little bit tougher, but even the loans, there's so many opportunities for low interest loans. And in an environment like this, I would want people to take advantage of that. And then when you come to the expo, they will let you know what you need, the documentation, what the expectation is, how bankers and financial institutions will look at you to see if you are credit worthy, or at least how much credit you are worthy of. And so those are some of the things that folks can take away when they come to the expo.
Dr. Baston, as you know, the college has many workforce programs, and now with our Center for Entrepreneurs we've created here, we have several new programs. With all these innovative programs, how do you envision the college impacting the small business ecosystem over the next few years?
One of the things that I really enjoyed about our Congresswoman's conversation about preparation, she's talked about the fact that she was extraordinary at sales. And we have very innovative people. We have folks that have great ideas, and that's wonderful. And you might even be able to sell quite well on your own. But to scale your business, to make sure that you are organizing the reporting requirements for the financing of your business so that you're paying whatever the taxes are required, that your structures legally are set up, that you ultimately know how you can go from concept to proof of concept to the scale of a concept. We need more support and instruction. And those are the kinds of things that we are trying to do at our college through our Center for Entrepreneurs, the work that we're doing with those businesses that are a little more advanced with our 10,000 Small Business Program as we seek to help those businesses build momentum. It is critical to recognize that as smart as one is, as creative as one is, as talented as one is, because you make a wonderful cake and you sold it to 5 people and you thought that's you gonna quit your job and what I love about the Congresswoman, she said, don't quit your job now. Don't quit your job now. So, but to help people take you through a process of preparing for the future, an organizing framework, a way of, and then to tap into your resources. If you come on Saturday, you're going to have access to folks that you on your own will never have access to. And you have a visionary leader who says, this is such an important commitment for me that I'm going to bring together, and I'm going to create the conditions where you can not just survive, but to thrive.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Congresswoman, as you go out, I know you've had lots of town halls and speaking with lots of constituents, and as you go across District 11, are you hearing any specific business concerns from small business owners? And if so, is there anything that we as a college or you as their Congresswoman can do to help provide kind of some short-term solutions or hope? I heard you talking about on the podcast for us.
Well, I am very, like I said, I have the good fortune of talking to folks often. And I will share a story that I got the permission from the gentleman who owns a company called Gojo. You might have heard of Purell. You're familiar with Gojo. And so I asked him how things are going. Would he be impacted by the tariffs? And he shared with me that he does $30 million of business in China with an electronic component that is used for the automatic dispensers in hospitals for Purell. Well, because of the 145% proposed tariff, that would be an additional $50 million on top of the 30 that he would have to pay for that unit. Now, he supplies these units for hospitals all over the country, not just here, but this is a business we have right here in our backyard that is being tremendously impacted. So we're talking about something that once was $30 million is now going to cost $80 million. Now you do the math. You can't even double your prices and make a profit. So you would have to essentially triple your prices. Triple your prices. And that's just for one component, one business, one entity. And so and let me say this too. Tariffs are a tool, and when used properly, they could be a good thing. I'm not against tariffs, but there has to be a plan. There has to be a vision. There has to be some guidance. What is the expectation? How long are we going to have these tariffs? And they're on again, they're off again, so it's creating this instability. He would love to have a manufacturing plant here, but the parts that are being made, no one here in the U.S. even has the capacity to make these parts here. And to establish a manufacturing company, if everything went perfect, would take 3 years. That's if everything went perfect. So those are the stories that I'm hearing. And as a legislator, as a lawmaker, it is frustrating because I understand that, again, as a person who once had a business, that is impossible to try to manage. So now, even if you have the additional resources, you have to make up for that. So who does he pass that cost on to? The hospitals. Who does the hospitals pass that cost on to? The insurance companies. And who do they pass that cost on to? And so it has an effect. So it might not seem like I don't own a business, I don't care nothing about them tariffs. The tariffs are going to hit everyone some way, shape, form, or another. And that is just one company, one example. So that's what I'm hearing. And so the thing that I hope, so if I could offer some encouragement, what I have found is that the headwinds, when the headwinds hear from certain people, they course correct. They might reverse their policy. And so what I have done, because politics essentially is about addition and multiplication. You got to be able to add up your friends and multiply those so you can get to the results that you need at the end of the day, right? So I'll pick up the phone and I'll call my colleagues on the other side of the aisle who have relationships with the headwinds, and I'll say, are these hitting y'all? Like, are you feeling this too? And they say, yes, I am. And I have a call in with the headwinds and we're going to talk about it. So that is the hope, is that, as people who have the influence, who have the connections, who have those direct relationships with individuals, will leverage those to the benefit of the greater good. And the thing that I do find a little bit frustrating is that the folks on the other side of the aisle, I'm a proud Democrat, if you couldn't tell, but the folks on the other side of the aisle, they may not be open and public with their feelings, but they will pick up the phone and try to help the headwinds course correct instead of going south. They like, we need these winds to go north, sir. So that's what they do.
So I'm not surprised that that's what you've been hearing. There was an article that talked about the most searched term on Google is tariffs. I wish we had all searched it months ago, but okay, we won't go down that rabbit trail, right? But then I did hear while I was driving in this morning that the last container left China this morning that is free of these tariffs. And it'll take a couple of weeks to get here, but anything that comes in after these next couple of weeks will have those tariffs. So I think that all of our businesses, all of our personal residences, we will all start in a few weeks to feel the impact of that.
Let me also say this along those lines, because I was talking to, I'm on the agriculture committee too. So I serve on 3 committees. I'm on agriculture, the Chinese Communist Party Select Committee, which really is about our global competition as it relates to China. And but what's interesting, the conversation I had with the farmers around tariffs and how it's impacting them because of the fertilizers, because of the equipment. So what they're saying is they may send something out. We were talking about exports in the way, and they were talking about the market manipulation of other countries and how they kind of play these games, and because of the tariffs, and now they can get something at a lower price, so they'll reject something that they may have bought. So you're talking about stuff coming over here without the tariffs. And things that are coming with the tariffs, if we were to play those games, we would say, oh, no, we're rejecting that. We're going to send that back because we can't afford it now, right? But this is being done to us by other countries a lot. So I understand the goal, if you will, of trying to level the playing field with these other countries who have, in some instances, haven't been playing fair, and China is one of them. And so China is one of them. But you cannot do this, bring jobs back in manufacturing at the flick of the switch. And that is the challenge, and that's what we're seeing. So you prompted that thought of the market manipulation that happens with these tariffs, and when now things are going to be coming over with higher prices. And the same same could be true with other countries, but they, like Canada, they're like, we don't want any of your stuff. They're taking our stuff off the shelves. How is that helping us? So it's a very unprecedented time, and I really said, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but it's one of those things where you want to be wrong. Like, I don't want to be right about tariffs raising costs for families. I want to be wrong. I would love for whatever the headwinds plan is to bring down costs to work, but it just does not seem like it's working.
And you did say that on the podcast. Okay. So, Dr. Beston, the Congresswoman has mentioned a couple times now about the length of time that it takes to get a manufacturing company up and running. And I have had a couple of people approach me to say, can you all do a workshop that talks about specifically how you create a manufacturing company and how you raise capital specifically for a manufacturing company. I'm sure it's all coming out of this, but that leads me to think that, I know we have our HETC and our manufacturing technology, but what advice, we have several of our entrepreneurship students in the audience, what advice would you give this audience in terms of using resources that the college has to create small businesses and to create their own businesses?
Well, remember that this is a community college, and community is in our middle name for a reason. We have a lot of resources. Many of them are free of charge to the community. We have in our metropolitan campus, as an example, a fab lab. So that if you want to prototype some of your things that you might want to bring to market, we actually have people who can help you with that. We have the programs that we have here at the Center for Entrepreneurs. We have a lot of the resources that one needs to actually move forward. But that requires for you to take that step. I love the fact that our Congresswoman talked about the leaps of faith. The idea that if you're going to bet on something or someone, you have to bet on yourself. And that means you've got to take the time to find out what those resources are. You've got to show up to many of these programs and services. Many of the entrepreneurship programs that we offer are scholarshiped because we do a lot of specific fundraising. I spend a lot of time with potential donors who are going to be investors in the future because they're investing in you. As our president mentioned just yesterday, we had a pitch competition where we had 7 students from a school of business who wanted to really demonstrate their entrepreneurial prowess in front of funders. And we actually were able to fundraise so that they could get seed money to build their business, to grow their business. So we are here to help you really think it through. I mean, from our perspective, we don't want you to just have a great dream. But the one thing that I talked about yesterday at the competition is the idea of Walt Disney, his idea of saying that a dream, you have to have a dream to make a dream come true. But you also have to have some work behind it. You know, he may have started out by making a little cartoon for his grandchildren of a little mouse. Now, most people don't want mice in their house. He brought his in for his grandchildren. But turned that little comic strip that he was making to entertain his grandchildren into a multi-billion-dollar, many, many years old experience that is transformative for the world. People don't just go to Disney World for the rides. They go for the ability to believe in the possible. Entrepreneurs, whatever your wares are, let people see how much you believe in the possible, how much you're trying to create magic for someone else through whatever goods or services that you want to provide.
Yeah. Thank you. So during the podcast, Congresswoman mentioned that there are going to be workshops and stay for the good stuff. And I know that a couple of our facilitators from our entrepreneurship programs are doing sessions on business plans and brand and marketing. And it's so important to be able to speak the language and to understand what your financial statements are saying, and so that you can, in fact, be efficient and effective and profitable and scale up. And so I think about you always saying that you're a recovering entrepreneur. But how do you use that experience as an entrepreneur in your role as Congresswoman, where now you can help thousands of folks? How do you use and blend those experiences when you're advocating for policies and programs to help with the small business and like you're bringing the expo?
Thank you. So I think if you probably, some of you may or may not be in sales and marketing, but I think that really was the fundamental, the foundation, really the thing that helps me in my current job and when I was in business, right? And you might not look at yourself as a salesperson, but to Dr. Baston's point, if you make a cake, you got to sell it though. You know, you got to convince somebody that you could be a great baker, but you got to sell it. If you're a president, you got to convince people that your school is the best. So essentially, we all have a little bit of sales in us. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, there's a little bit of sales in you. So I would encourage folks to pick up a sales technique book, because you'll find some really great skills that are transferable in whatever industry you're in. And why do I say that? Because fundamentally what sales, marketing, government, politics is listening to people. You got to figure out what it is that people want. So as a salesperson, do you like lemon? You like vanilla cake? You like chocolate? You know, as a president, do you learn about financials, marketing? What is it? You have to listen first. That's the first thing you have to do. As a lawmaker, as a public servant, what is the problem that you're having? How can I help you? What's important to you? So listening is the first thing. And that was the skills that sales taught me. Because when people will tell you what they want, they will tell you what they need, but you have to listen and you have to ask the right questions, or the probing questions, to get to what it is they need. And then once you figure that out, once you find that out, how do I deliver? How do I get to you what you need? And then the other thing is, you may not be able to do it. You know what? I don't really know how to make lemon cakes. So you either got to say, I don't know how to make lemon cakes, or you got to get real resourceful and figure out how to make lemon cakes. Because if the demand is for lemon cakes and you can make good chocolate cakes, you better learn how to make good lemon cakes, because I like lemon cakes, okay? But it is listening, so figuring out the need, and figuring out what people want help with, and being responsive. And if you can't, if you're not a baker, you know what, I don't even bake, I just make good lasagna, you know, so I'm gonna have to, but I can refer you to someone who makes good. Being resourceful. And so being a resource and being honest about it. You know what, I don't make good lemon cakes, but I know someone who does, and people will appreciate that. And so when they come back, but I don't make good lemon cakes, but I make lasagna, and they're gonna remember, Shontel told me she can't make lemon cakes, but she can make some good lasagna. I'm gonna come back. So building those relationships, being resourceful. So those are the skills that have, you know, transcended from sales to politics to being a public servant. I think that those are the things that really have helped shape my journey.
Yeah, and as you said during the podcast, when you are this entrepreneur and you're just getting started, you have to be the salesperson and the bookkeeper and the CEO.
And the delivery person.
Right. And you have to be able to be willing to work that 24/7. So thank you, Congresswoman, for coming out. Thank you. Let's give Congresswoman Shontel.
Thank y'all.
And our president, Dr. Michael Baston, let's thank him for coming out. He always answers the bell. I so appreciate you both so much. I hope all of you all will come out Saturday and enjoy the expo. It is free. These are the resources that we want to continue to provide you with. A little commercial. Our next speaker series will feature one of your Business Advisory Council folks, Arian Kilpatrick. She owns the Jabali Group, the AKA Construction Company, and she has a medical marijuana business. The speaker series will be free. She will tell you about her entrepreneurship journey. And this is just one more resource that we want to provide the community. So do come back out, enjoy yourself, enjoy the reception at the other end of the hallway. And one...
Can we hear it for the president? Let's give it up. President Renee Rashad!
And I was going to say one more big round of applause for Dr. Baston and Congresswoman Shontel Brown. Thank you all.
Thank you.